Hello, guys. Coming to you live from Tabletop Simulator. I figured, without a lot of content going on and, you know, um, waiting on the CRD and things like that and trying to get product into your hand. I know it's, a lot of eBay you can find singles box product. But as far as looking for it locally, still trying to find places that may have it. And so another great way or alternative to playing the game is playing it on Tabletop Simulator. I know the Tabletop Simulator Discord has um, things that tell you how to set it up, how to install it, how to get this part here. This is the deck builder. Has all the players within the respective teams, um, and then also all the plays, which plays run left, run middle, run right, short pass, medium pass, long pass, sorted by offense. And then you just kind of have to look at the defense side, and then of course your unique plays, your synergy cards that are not team based, and then your actions, offensive only actions, defensive only actions, gridirons, and power ups. So shout out to Kusik on the Discord to set this up as far as importing most of this information in, um, and getting it all set up here with with the ability to play digitally. I know some of you may have seen the last video that I posted for NFL 5 that showed the finals of league play. I wish I could have, recorded more of the games during the league play, but it was kind of one of those bang bang situations. So, anyways, I just wanted to make a video, kind of showing you the layout of like this, and of course your teams, how to make those, and of course I'm gonna give you kind of a deck profile on some of these league teams, so that way you can see. Let's take a look at like Tom Brady. Um, Please take note that like right now these teams without a CRD update, a lot of these particular decks, action and play decks are going to change quite a bit, just based on what ends up happening. So I didn't want to put out a video for that particular reason, but I figured, to kind of give you guys some content to look at and things like that, it would be something that you could, kind of get some ideas about, like starting to look at doing teams that way in the meantime. So that way you can definitely take a look at, some ideas and kind of, see, oh, let's throw this around, throw that around. And then when the CRD comes out, you can really get into building a deck and, kind of look at things. But honestly, with, the way it sits now, um, for league play, I'll tell you, for the league play, it was you had to build a synergy with a 2022 synergy type, so it had to be um, a full synergized team. So Tampa Bay, Patriots, Saints, Vikings. Well, Vikings only had four on defense because they didn't have a fifth to play. But um, as far as um, these decks, they were made to basically play full out teams, kind of get an idea, get your. To me, it was get your juices flowing. What can you build within the team and try and make a strong showing to play? Now, a lot of times it was, especially during the regular rounds of play, I felt like it was very casual, very fun filled. Let's just play some games. Let's get to learn tabletop. Let's learn um, NFL 5. Let's get people involved in playing and just have fun. When it came to playoff time, when the cutoff came, and it was like, all right, we played 4 weeks of football. Now it's final week is playoffs and let's, bring your best foot forward and things like that. I really looked into bringing the best all out competitive teams that I could. So when I did build quite a bit of different teams. I'll tell you, I have a Dallas team built, a Raiders team built. I have a Lions team built, a Ravens team built, a Falcons team built, a Bills team built, a Niners team built. I had a Vikings team built, basically for Vikings fan. But yeah, I had a Colts team built. I have obviously a Bucs team built. I have a Titans team built. I have a Jaguars team built. A KC team built. I started working on a Bengals team because their synergy, everybody said, was just absolute trash. But I wanted to, kind of look and make it so that it was pretty okay. But it's just there's only several cards that work with this synergy, and it's pretty bad. But anyways, let's take a look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay synergy says it's active if all your players are bucs, which obviously they're going to be. And all the synergies basically say if their team is the same team, then you get their effect. This is all successful short and medium passes gain an additional 15 yards. So, being that short and medium pass are going to gain an additional 15, that's essentially how you wanted to build the play deck to be short, medium passes, right? But then when it came to defense, you were easily stopped because you were pretty predictable. And with 2022, obviously we got this card here. And of course, it's non-unique and says that it blocks all passes. So with this card being a thing, it was definitely the show's front runner for how you would play this league. Because this card existed, it was like, okay, well, I either have to play like all runs or I have to play a way to get around this, right? So what do we do here? Well, with the Bucs energy saying 15 yards on short and medium, we go into the toolbox of what we have here. So we take a look at, of course, Chris Godwin, who is the showrunner of the deck. It says your first short or medium pass play each drive is unstoppable. So the idea of the deck is you basically just make a one hit score. You go 75 yards and get into the end zone, right? So how do we do that? Well, this guy says their first play is unstoppable. So essentially you play a medium pass that goes like 30, 40 yards, right? It makes it unstoppable with Chris Godwin. You make sure you hit with Tom Brady. So you play Tom Brady. He's the 2021 version. Exhaust increase or decrease the play strength or catch range by up to 2. Exhaust only during on-field adjustments. So when you look at our play design, obviously, well, this we know about the all passes. It's a very bad on offense. However, with Tom Brady, we make our 7 to 9 a 5 to 9 or a 7 to 1. And so you can increase that, or you can increase the actual play strength to make it fit within the 7 and 9. So it really helped kind of boost that. But we look at the safe medium passes that go 30 yards. It's 2019 C73, which medium pass on a 9 strength, 2 through 8 for 30 yards. We have the starter from 2019's S75, which is also 30 yards, and that's 2 through 8. Its strength is a 2. I've discussed how these really fit within the numbers very, very well, and so it makes sense. There's also another one that is played that's medium pass for 30 yards. That's a 1, has Adam Thielen on it, which is another one that I think is really, really potent. It's not in this particular build. I did go with this particular guy, which is medium pass for 35 with Cooper Kupp. That's the 2021 U185, and it's a 4 through 9. It's a 1. It goes 35 yards. So its range is a bit shorter, but it gives you 5 additional yards. Then we've got some run middle to move it up a little bit, some run right. Of course, if we don't get the first shot score, if we get close enough, of course, we want to have a backup plan. So we want to have our run middle, run rights, run lefts available just in case we need to get there, right? So, uh, some things that we put in there to make it work. But the idea is you basically go with this, you make your medium pass, which is 30, 35, and then of course when you look at the action deck, we play speed kills, which you lose 10 yards, but then you double the yardage. Um, Initially, before this card was clarified, and I guess will be clarified in like the CRD, it basically doubles the yards of the play. So basically, our 30-yard play will go 60, and um, our 35s will go 70. So if you look at that, we're at the 25. We only need 75 to score. So if we use speed kills, we go back 10. That means we need 85. And if we double a 60, that brings us to or if we double the 30, it brings us to 60, right? So now we're 20 yards shy of needing to get where we need to go, right? But if we look at like Rob Gronkowski, receive if you gain an additional 20 yards if your opponent doesn't have a linebacker on the field. So now we're going 80 yards, right, for the score. We also look at Mike Evans, who's run or receive, gain additional 15 yards if the tackler doesn't have a power up. Otherwise, it's 5. So with this, we're looking at 15 more. So if we go, you know, 60 yards plus that 75 yards, we're 10 yards shy of scoring. Then we can just follow up with a run play to get in. Sharpen focus, triple the yards of the gained of your next successful play, then lose the ball. So if we're going 30, tripling it makes it 90, right? So we can sharpen focus. It's unstoppable. Brady makes us hit, and then we get either Rob or um, Mike Evans to give us 15 to 20 more yards. So we're looking at going over 100 yards. We're going to score, right? So we're going to score on one play, go in, make the score, move on to defense. That's kind of the idea here. So this is really what it was the strong point. I put in Mike Allstott because just I wanted to really use that effect, which during the second half, your opponent must play with their defense card selected at random. So then at that point, like they know they have to go medium pass, short pass because they kind of get an idea of what you're doing in the first half. But then Mike Allstott comes in and says, well, you have to pick your plays by random. So now they can't easily predict like what you're going to do on offense. So then it kind of helps you kind of cheese around that, I guess. So that's the idea behind that. So that's kind of the core piece of the offense. This is what built the deck around, was to do this. And then if we look at defense, like it was just putting fillers on the table. What's the best defenses we can do? Well, Levante David, exhaust, discard, or draw an action, discard an action. It's just filter through the cards that I needed. Vita Vea was absolutely um, just it's not very good. Run middle, run right, decrease the play strength by 2. I mean, it was there, but it didn't really do a whole lot. Sue was a great addition, um, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. He was probably one of the best MVP pieces of the deck. Um, and if you don't know what he does, he's exhaust, replay the down, you remove him from the field. Offense loses 5 yards. You exhaust during on-field adjustment. So he's a replay down effect that loses 5 yards, basically, and like an false start, automatic false start, and then he goes to your bench. So then you're down one player. But it's really, really strong. And I'll get into that a little bit. But Shaquille Barrett. So let's say tackle, cancel all of your opponent's abilities until next turn. So when he canceled, he basically turned off the opponent's next play, all of their effects. So it really helps. This is going to be really, really good in the future when it comes to defenses, being able to shut down static abilities and things like that. So keep an eye out for Mr. Barrett. Rules change or not, he's going to be good. Devin White, exhaust, return a card from your discard pile to your hand. Do not draw an action at the end of the down. Exhaust only at the end of the play. If you guys haven't seen Devin White in action, like you can get back your key pieces on action cards. But if you didn't see one of my other videos of one of my 2000 or 2021 deck profiles and deck plays, is Devin White lets you pick up your unique play. So you could pick up your unique play like all runs or all passes, whatever. Not there's that this is not unique anymore, but back in 2021 there was only one unique play. So what you could do is you could pick up like this guy. You could play all passes, which blocks all passes, and if they're running the ball, you get to choose X. So you'd be like, oh, they're showing 9. I'm going to play 1, call it a 0. They go 5 times 0, which is 0. So you stop, potentially you stop both the run and the pass if they don't have anything to on-field adjustment phase to actually up their strength or decrease the strength. So this is actually really, really strong in combination with Devin White. Basically said I pretty much auto stop your run or pass. And then with Devin White, you could exhaust and pick it up. So play it first down, then exhaust and pick it up second down. They're already on third down, so they got 2 downs to score 75 yards. And if you had a way to ready him, like of course Takaris McKinley, and then Melvin Ingram the third, they would let you re-ready your character, so you could do that, do it again, and then do it again for fourth down. You basically would just hold them off. So very, very strong strategy back in 2021. That was really, really good. So obviously you have this as a core piece of the defense. But we know what we're doing on offense, and it's pretty basic and pretty simple. Let me tell you about how I looked at the actions, right? So take a look at the actions. I had prevent defense times 2, 2 false starts, or I actually had 1 false start in this particular build. And the reason for this, like you pair false start with prevent defense. And so your main goal, like in this particular format, and of course in this 2022, the way things shaped up as far as like what is strong or what's being played is you were basically playing your sharpen focus and your speed kills to kind of do this one shot score. And that's true with a lot of teams. Like if you look at like Buffalo can do it, New England can do it, Tom Brady and them can do it, the Dallas Cowboys can do it. There's a lot of teams that have these unstoppable effects that we're like, we're gonna just push everything in, pull all our chips, call it the all-in offense, right? We just push in our chips, we go all in for one score, and then that's it. Like we go in for the score and we get to move on to defense, right? And so what this allowed us to do was if they because they have to do sharpen focus like on-field adjustment phase to get the next play to successfully play, if they play sharpen focus, it triples the yards on the next successful play, then they lose the ball. It says the next successful play. So when they play this, we would play false start, which would make them replay the down and lose 5 yards. So in these two conjunctions, this replays the down. So their next play, you want it to be successful. But since it's going to triple the yards, what you do is you play prevent defense on the next prior to selecting play. Your opponent would gain 20 or more yards on their next play. They gain 20 yards instead. So this is prior to selecting play after you've played false start. So then you play this, they've already played sharpen focus, and then you play false start. And then on your very assuming replay down, prior to selecting a play, you play prevent defense. This means you allow them to actually gain the yards. Don't stop them, but pick something that you don't think they're going to play so that they are successful. Once they're successful, guess what? They gain more than 20 yards. So then they only gain 20 instead. So in this game, instead actually replaces whatever they modified. So if they triple the yards, like they go 30 yards times 3, that's 90. Well, now that you go 90, you actually go 20 instead. So then they would gain 20 yards and then they would turn the ball over due to sharpen focus's effect, right? So that was the combination. It was like the false start, prevent, defense. And I only ran one false start because, of course, we got Ndamukong Suh, who's a false start on the stick, and I get that every single time. So if I have Ndamukong Suh and I have a prevent defense in my hand, I could literally wait till they sharpen focus, activate Sue, and then the next turn just prevent defense. So it's definitely really, really strong. The way it worked on defense, and of course, don't forget Devin White can pick up your prevent defense, and you can do this over again. So then it really stopped these two cards, and these two cards being a super powerhouse and being exactly what they were proven to be come out of the 2022 format is you gain big yards, but they do have a drawback. I mean, you look at speed kills, they lose 10 yards, and then you false start them, they lose 5, so they lose 15 yards on the play. And then if they double yards, you could still prevent defense, and they pretty much go nowhere, right? We lost 15, then they gained 20 only, so they're only gaining 5 yards. And so even though it's a successful play, it's a successful play for 5 yards. They're sitting at the 30 now, and it's second down. So essentially, they've gained 5 yards and they lost it down. So very very good. As we look at the generics, if we look at the way we were looking, or the way I approached this format for league format play, right, is you needed 2 outperforms. This card is just it's cracked. Like 2019, probably one of the best staples out of 2019. You play it in every deck, even in regular play, competitive play, whatever, you would play this. It's just too strong. 1, 2, or 3 on the play strength. You get to modify it. It's too good. So you run 2 of these. These are staple, right? You run 1 miraculous play. This card is too strong to ignore. Probably getting nerfed. Probably looking at some type of weird errata when it comes to the CRD. So be ready for that. You take a look at Team Synergy in this particular format. I really considered it a staple because then you basically energize your players, get to do them again. And even if it was to energize like 1 player or 2 players, like I found myself using this card on almost every deck. Some decks didn't need it, but most of the decks did. So this was a staple. A sideline adjustment, just a generic pot of greed, draw 2, put 1 in your hand, put the other on the bottom. Basically you got to look at 2 cards, put 1 in your hand. It was essentially replaced itself, put another card on the bottom of the deck. It didn't go into the discard pile, so went to the bottom of the deck, so you kind of stacked the bottom, knew what it was. Staple, because if you look at like this type of format, there's not a lot of draw cards, so you can't really draw and have a draw advantage. So you basically run this card to kind of filter out and get to your good stuff. So that was there. Not this Sunday, 2020 staple. This card is definitely getting hit, getting errata, getting something. So be on the lookout for that. This, of course, was a staple. We run 2 of. So when you look at your staples, it was 2 Not This Sundays, 2 Sideline Support, 2 Team Synergy, 1 Miraculous Play, and then 2 Outperform. So then you had, these particular cards, which these 9 cards were 9 out of your 20 cards, and then whatever else you needed. So in this particular case, I went with 2 Acclimatize, your power up that allows your character to be unaffected by weather and environment. And then when it goes to the discard pile, you got to draw an extra card. So it was another draw fodder when it went away, and also helped against weather decks or an environment effect that would stop us from actually completing what we needed to. I put 2 locked in this deck. Power up from 2020. Basically, I would use it most of the time for Tom Brady. You just slap it on Tom Brady, and then if that player would exhaust for any reason, you remove it from the field instead. He doesn't exhaust, so I would basically locked into Tom Brady, use his effect, gain +3, +2, -2, whatever, and then it would give me a second run. So if I didn't get the 1-shot score, I could then use him again. to replay. Also, it was really, really good for Devin, right? So Devin White, like I was saying before, if you have a way to ready him, you could actually use him multiple times. Well, in this case, I could just locked in, and then, pop it, pick up a card, be able to reuse it again, and then still use Devin White. So if you take a look at that like unique play situation, you can unique play, attach locked in, discard locked in, grab my unique play my unique play, then Devin White pick up my unique play, do it again. And so it really just made me go ahead and go over that over and over again. So another good option. Um, in this format, again, because it was one of those type of things that just felt like all I need to do is just one shot into the end zone. I feel like this league play was definitely too sharp in focus and two speed kills. So these could consider be part of the staples. So your 9 now, you're talking about like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards of your 20 were basically set. Two speed kills, two sharp and focus, two not the Sundays, two sideline adjustments, two team synergies, two outperform, and one miraculous play, right? So then it gave you pretty easy, pretty laid back wiggle room to add the rest. And you'll see with some of the other decks that I do, this one's exactly 20, which was real nice. Some I ended up going over 20. Just kind of had to with the amounts of staples that were needed. You look at my play deck is 24. Not really going to too much of the play deck. I will tell you guys that this card right here, all passes, is has already been said that's probably going to be unique. So you don't have to worry about this. This fixes almost a lot of the 2022 problem of like, well, now we just have to play decks that say, like, a lot of decks were obsolete because of this card. Like, you basically had like, I think my Vikings build was a very optimal like passing build with Chris Carter being able to make it so you can basically like almost guarantee you get a long pass, or definitely guarantee you get a medium pass off. But with this being a card, you just flip it over and like I just block all passes, and I could run 10, 20 of them if I wanted, right? Real bad if you did, but I mean, definitely look, if you look at like this particular build, I'm running 3, 4, I run 4, and I typically ran 4, like 4 to 6 of this card. 4 seemed about right. It could be like a quarter of the build. But if you look, it's 20 plays and then 4 of these. That's basically what I built here. And so, with that, being a big problem, definitely during the league, and seeing like I'm either gonna have to run runs or really, fear this card and have like an unstoppable type opener. It really just kind of warped the format a little bit, but more than likely you're going to see this turn into a unique play. And if you do, then it's going to open up a lot of these other decks to actually be playable, and open up a lot of things happening in the metagame. So ran this long pass unique all runs just because I wanted to run something else. With Tom Brady, I figured we could manipulate to make it hit, but never really saw it. Never really saw it work. It was whatever. Of course, we talked about the medium pass. I ran 3 of the 73. I ran 3 of the 70 starter 75. I ran 3 of the medium pass cup. And then we ran 3 run middles. And this is the 2022 uncommon 135. We also ran the 2021 uncommon 179 run middle, 3 of those. 2 of the run right from 2022 C89. 2 of the run left C76. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 of these, and 1 run left of 2021 C77. Again, a lot of these, like I said, the play decks will definitely modify, and of course, the action decks also will eventually. But I just wanted to give you a quick update, kind of give you a little bit of NFL 5. That way you can kind of get watching and give you some ideas, things to look out for. But with the CRD, I promise you guys, once it comes out, we'll be able to start looking at decks. I'll be able to start putting some ideas out there, um, and then kind of get you guys ready for the next league play, which should happen in November. Once we get an idea of the new CRD, we can actually start putting that together and actually start, building decks and, enjoying the game again and kind of see. Right now, we're just kind of waiting to see what gets changed. But until then, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoy the deck profile. Look for many more to come. I will see you guys next time.